Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're here at Matchless Gifts, 26 Avenue, and it is the most amazing and wonderful spiritual place to read Bhagavatam. Because whenever you open the Bhagavatam, you just think that Srila Prabhupada came here with his 3 volumes of the first canto Bhagavatam to New York City. Right now it's actually, I don't know if you can see it much out the back window. No, you can't really, but it snowed again last night, so it's been a snowy winter here. All right, so we're reading from the Bhagavatam.
Canto 4, Chapter 23, Text 29. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We're almost there. I'm almost there.
Text 29. The great sage Maitreya continued speaking. My dear Vidura, when the wives of the denizens of heaven were thus talking amongst themselves, Queen Archie reached the planet which her husband Maharaj Prithu, the topmost self-realized soul, had attained. Papa. According to Vedic scriptures, a woman who dies with her husband or enters into the fire in which her husband is burning also enters the same planet her husband attains. In this material world, there is a planet known as Patiloka, just as there is a planet known as Pritraloka. But in this verse, the word Patiloka does not refer to any planet within this material universe. For Maharaj Prithu, being topmost amongst the self-realized souls, certainly returned home back to Godhead and attained one of the Vaikuntha planets. Queen Archie also attained one of the Vaikuntha planets. Queen Archie also entered Patiloka, but this planet is not in the material universe, for she actually entered the planet which her husband attained. In the material world also, when a woman dies with her husband, she again unites with him in the next birth. Eternally. Similarly, Maharaj Prithu and Queen Archie united in the Vaikuntha planets. In the Vaikuntha planets, there are husbands and wives. But there is no question of their giving birth to children or having sex life. In the Vaikuntha planets, both husbands and wives are extraordinarily beautiful, and they are attracted to one another, but they do not enjoy sex life. Indeed, they consider sex not to be very relishable because both husband and wife are always absorbed in Krishna consciousness and in glorifying and chanting the glories of the Lord.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I just listen, innit?
I didn't understand what you said, but okay.
Anyway, it's interesting, isn't it?
Most certainly is. Yeah, yes, it's very interesting.
Well, it seems that, did they enter the Vaikuntha planets in the same body? No, because their body got burned. Yeah, no, because their bodies were burning, and it's explained in the previous verses that while the wives of the demigods were on the one sense seeing, oh look, she's entered the fire and his body's burning, and Prabhupada explains on the other side it was that they were both descending up to the spiritual world. But anyway, interesting. Yeah, it sounds nice, isn't it, that you can just live and have a house, a nice house anyway, in the spiritual world.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get our eternal home there. We can finally unpack our books and take them with us there.
I can get a washing machine.
I was talking with some devotee the other day. They said they were moving. And I said, well, you can't have that much stuff. And they said, no, we don't. They said, actually, most of the boxes are just filled with books. And then I was like, yeah, same with us. Most of our storage unit is filled with boxes of books. And then he said, yeah, just like Prabhupada, he only came to America with mostly a box of books. And I said, that's our legacy. All the devotees in the Hare Krishna movement just wander around the world with boxes of books. But anyway, this is an interesting topic, this idea of Patiloka. Mentions that there is Patiloka in the material world. But that's not the Patiloka that's being referred to here. Same as there's Pitriloka. I mean, of course, we don't hear of Patiloka listed in the 14 planetary systems, but I presume it's somewhere near Pitriloka. Either way, Prabhupada says there is a Patiloka here, but it sounds like what's being referred to here in the verse is that she went to Patiloka, the same planet as her husband. So like that, and that was, Prabhupada is confirming that it was a Vaikuntha planet. Of course, I do find it strange and unusual that we hear that a husband and wife who go back to Godhead go back and live there eternally together. I find it strange, mainly because I've always understood that two jiva souls that come together aren't necessarily always going to remain together. It's described like straw, that on the sea the waves crash, the straw lands somewhere else and it's connected for a little while, then the waves hit again. But I guess that's if you are in the material world. But if you go back to the spiritual world, then it's interesting. I don't remember ever hearing that before. I think I definitely might have considered getting married differently. Just kidding. Okay, next paragraph. According to Bhaktivedanta Thakur, also a husband and wife can turn the home into a place as good as Vaikuntha, Haribo, even while in this material world. Being absorbed in Krishna consciousness, even in this world, husband and wife can live in Vaikuntha simply by installing the deity of the Lord within the home and serving the deity according to the directions of the Shastras. In this way, they will never feel the sex urge. That is the test of advancement in devotional service. Well, there you go. There's the test, everyone. Take it in your own time and place. One who is advanced in devotional service is never attracted by sex life. And as soon as one becomes detached from sex life and proportionately attached to the service of the Lord, he actually experiences living in the Vaikuntha planets. Haribo! In the ultimate issue, there is actually no material world. But when one forgets the service of the Lord and engages himself in the service of his senses, he is said to be living in the material world. There you go. So in one sense, because it's all Krishna's energy, it also can be experienced as spiritual, or it can be experienced as material. Material when we're doing it just for our own sense gratification. And spiritual when we're engaging everything here in Krishna service, understanding that it is Krishna's divine energy, like that. Interesting.
Text 30. Maitreya continued, the greatest of all devotees, Maharaj Prithu, was very powerful and his character was liberal, magnificent and magnanimous. Thus I have described him to you as far as possible. In this verse, the word Bhagavatama is very significant, for the word Bhagavat is used especially to refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the word Bhagavam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is derived from the word Bhagavat. Sometimes, however, we see that the word Bhagavan is used for great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Narada Muni. This is the case with Prithu Maharaj, who is described here as the best of the Bhagavans, or the best of the Lords. A person can be so addressed only if he is a great personality who exhibits extraordinary and uncommon features, or who attains the greatest goal after his disappearance, or who knows the difference between knowledge and ignorance. In other words, the word Bhagavan should not be used for ordinary persons. It's interesting, because we know it is, or we know it is used quite cheaply with very good gurus. I was going to say in India, I guess mainly, you know, Swami Bhagavan, all this or that. I just saw something ironically yesterday. I was trying to understand what was going on. Seen, I won't name names, but some school or fort somewhere, and the guru was posing with his disciple. As Jambavan was posing with his disciple, and yeah, it was like, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, wasn't really a disciple pose. But anyway, the point I'm making.
Why?
Because
posing with his disciple is not abnormal. I think you need to clarify that, otherwise it doesn't sound.
I think we're just very close. But the point is, I was trying to understand who it was, because there was a lot of reverence for him online. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I didn't know who he was, from another school of thought. And then he was described in this way, you know. And I was like, it's really, this word is used so, you know, Mahatma or Bhagavan or this or that. It's used very liberally. And as Prabhupada says, it shouldn't be used in that way. There's certain conditions for it to be used, other than to be used in relation to Krishna. That's my point. Because sometimes other personalities apart from Krishna, they, you know, you say Bhagavan, but Prabhupada's establishing when you would do that. It's not a cheap term.
Yeah, I mean, it's very high qualification. How does it say? He says, a person can exhibit extraordinary and uncommon features, or who attains the greatest goal after his disappearance. So you can only call it to him after he goes back to Godhead. Or who knows the difference between knowledge and ignorance. Now that might be a little more common, you know, especially amongst, I mean, whether it means you've realized that difference, because a lot of people might know the difference between knowledge and ignorance according to our scripture, our shastra. Interesting. Okay, so I think we'll call it a daisy do. And thank you very much for tuning in. Please read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.